Okay, welcome to the tutorial on how to make the home screen for the world's hardest game. The only thing I'm not going to show you in here is how to get this little animation in the home screen. We'll do that in a different tutorial. All right, but we're looking to get the words on here, and this button for a new game that brings us up into the level 1 that we created. And then when we get all the way up into the end, it'll code us. Oh, if I can beat the level here, it'll get us all the way up to the next point. All right. Well, I'm obviously terrible at this game, so we'll just jump right into it. All right. Also on level 1, there's this end game right here, which will bring us right back to that home screen. All right, so we're getting back here. This is where we left off on the other tutorials for level number 1. All right, we know that we have our green flag that's starting that up right here. We're actually going to change that around. We're just going to get rid of this when that's clicked, and we'll go back to our other commands because the home screen is what we're mainly going to be focused on. All right. So we will now create a new backdrop, which is going to be called our home screen. All right, in our code for home screen, we're just going to have our events come in that say when I receive start home screen, we want the home screen to show up. When I receive start level 1, we want level 1 to show up. So we'll say when I receive start level 1, we will switch our backdrop to level 1, and we're going to need to actually create a new message, which is start home screen. All right, and when I receive start home screen, we're going to switch our backdrop to home screen. Right. The great part about home screens, it's different from sprites. Sprites you have to hide, then show up again. You can think about a backdrop like a wallpaper. There can only be one of them. So if it's on level 1 and we switch to home screen, we don't need to end level 1 and start up home screen like we've done before. All right, so now we have our messages broadcasting, and now we actually have to set these things up to trigger certain things. So in order just to start home screen right now, we will have buttons eventually that get to that point. But for right now, just to make it easy for us to switch back and forth, we're just going to say when our flag is clicked, we're going to broadcast start home screen. And actually what I had on there before, we will also broadcast end level 1. We'll have that coded in some buttons, but for now, it's just kind of nice to have that right away. All right, so level 1's ended. We're here on our home screen. Now let's go ahead and build this thing. All right, so if we remember from our example, we have these words up here on the front, world's hardest game. We'll put those into to start for our first sprite. World's hardest game, right there, ready to go. All right, now for our code, very simple. We just want this thing when we receive start home screen, we want this thing to show. And then we'll have a code which is going to be when I receive end home screen, which we don't have yet. This thing hide. All right, so when we start up our home screen, it's there. When we end it, it goes away, which is exactly what we want. All right, now let's get going on our start button. So our start button, we're going to, let's see, we'll keep this theme right here, and we're going to add it as a new sprite, and we'll just make this same color. We'll just put a box. All right, we'll keep the same purplish, and we'll just put new game in there. And we're gonna have to make this contrast a little bit better. So let's go with maybe a yellow. Cool. All right, and we'll get a border on this thing just to make it look a little bit more like a button. those are some hideous colors, but I'll let you guys change them on your own. But for now, you get the idea of what we're trying to do. So we'll center these things in here. And there we go. All right, so our new game is going to trigger us starting up level 1 and ending our home screen. So there's going to be a little bit of code in this one right here. So let's head back to that sprite for our new game. We'll actually call this one our new game. And over here, I think we forgot to name this one. We'll call this the home screen words. And we have our new game button right here. All right, so for our code for our new game button, we're obviously going to want to have this thing hide when we are not in our home screen and show when we're in our home screen. So that'll be pretty basic right there. So when we receive start home screen, we will show. Then when I receive end home screen, we'll get rid of it, we'll hide it. Right. Now what triggers end home screen? Well, actually this sprite right here. So we need to have, when this sprite is clicked, we are going to broadcast end home screen, and we're also going to broadcast start level 1, right? Our new game is going to be for level 1 to get moving. All right, a great thing now also to put right here, or in a convenient place, are the fails. We can actually have this thing hide when we're here on the home screen and then start up when level 1 shows up. So I was actually just trying to move that guy right there, which I was not able to do. Maybe we'll just move these ones for now. I guess I could get a little more into that. But anyway, what was I saying? The fails. Right now is a great place to hide variables. We can actually hide the variables when our home screen starts. Then when end home screen starts, or when this thing is clicked, we can say show variable fails, which is kind of nice. So when we go into here, fails shows up. Then when we go back to our home screen, it goes away because we don't need to have it there. All right, the last part of this tutorial, we're going to make our button that's going to be on our level 1 page that brings us back to our home screen. All right, and to look at that as an example, all right, on here we have this end game. So if we're playing and we want to go back to the home screen, we're going to go back just like this. All right, should be fairly straightforward because we have a lot of our commands really well organized that start and end the different screens when we want them to. All right, so we will go in here to this level. We can actually duplicate this one right here. So now we have our a second new game button that we're going to change up to make end game. All right, for our code, we're going to say we don't need our hide fails again. That can leave. So we'll say this is going to show up when we receive start level 1, and this is going to be hidden when we receive start home screen. Right? When we go to our home screen, our new game button will go away. All right, and we'll say when this sprite is clicked, we want to end level 1, and we want to start our home screen. Okay. Now, as we progress through, if we have other levels, we would code this thing to say end level 2, end level 3, 4, so on and so forth, or our final screen as well, our congratulations screen. And then we go back and we start up our home screen. So this one button will do all of those different things. It's not showing yet because start level 1 hasn't come up yet. So let's go back to the beginning, new game, and there it is, right? It's in a pretty terrible spot, so we'll have to actually move this. We'll just get rid of this when our sprite is clicked for right now. That way I can actually move it when it's on the screen. New game. All right, let's bring this thing down. Maybe we'll just have it down in the corner here for all of our different levels. All right, let's connect this back up. And now that's doing what we want. All right, for our last tutorial, for our home screen, I'm going to go into making this animation here. I'm going to leave it off of this because I've already been talking for about 10 minutes.